Hello and welcome into this week's ARCA Menards Series Rewind show right here on Racing News Now. As always, I'm your host, Garth Allen. Thank you once again for joining me today. If this is your first time catching a Racing News Now video, we're currently in our hashtag Race to 1K. If you haven't subscribed already, consider going down below to do that for me. It is free to do. The quicker we get to 1,000 subscribers, the quicker YouTube will let us do mobile live streaming from the track, which will vastly improve both the quality and quantity of coverage we're able to give you when we're able to get back to the track. All right, let's talk about last night's Bush's Beans 200 from the Bristol Motor Speedway. 200 laps, 106 miles around the half-mile Bristol Motor Speedway, Bristol, Tennessee. This race was crazy. I think it's safe to say this was the best race of the ARCA season thus far. We had so much happening in this race. So much drama. We had payback from Toledo last week happening. We had championship implications happening left and right, and it was happening throughout the race. At one point in the race, one of our championship contenders would be way out in front of the other, then it would flip-flop, and the other one would be way out in front of the other, just depending on what strategy was happening, what incidents were happening. There were so many things happening in this race, and then we had the two best cars in the field just beating and banging on each other for the lead for pretty much the entire night. It was fantastic to watch this action, and I hope that Bristol becomes a mainstay on the main ARCA schedule going forward, because this put on the best show of the season, by far. Lebanon a couple weeks ago was really good, but this outshined Lebanon. This was fantastic. We need more of this. All right, so your caution report from last night. 10 cautions on the night for 71 laps total. We almost ran half of this race under caution. That's how many incidents were happening in this race. It started off very early, lap number 4, as Max Gutierrez in the 53 stalled on the track. Then we had a lot of single car spins going on after that. Lap 18, 41 of Kyle Sieg spun in turn 1. Lap 32, the 48 of Brad Smith spinning in turn 4 was an interesting case. As he was getting lapped by the leaders, Ty Gibbs seemed to misjudge where he thought Brad Smith was going to be and ended up turning Brad Smith. So can't really call that Brad Smith's fault. I don't know that you can completely call it Ty Gibbs' fault either. It's just a misjudgment on where he's going in the corner. We saw this from Kyle Busch a couple years ago with his incident with Garrett Smithley when he was trying to lap him. You can't fully place the blame on Ty Gibbs here. It's just a matter of thinking you know where the car in front of you is going to go in the corner. They don't go there, but you're already committed to the line you're in, and you're so much faster than they are, you can't get out of that speed quick enough to not get into them. So really, I don't know that you can call that anybody's fault. It's just a racing incident. Lap 43, Nick Sanchez spun in turn 2. Lap 62, another spin, this time by Jason Kitzmiller. Break number 1 happened at lap 72 as Chandler Smith got into the wall in turn 2. Chandler Smith just had one of those nights, and it's been one of those nights for him most of this season. I don't know what's up with that 20 team, but they have had mechanical failure after wreck after everything this season. It's been crazy to see the downward spiral of that 20 team, and really Venturini as a whole has just really kind of been off for a lot of this season. Lap 105, we got fluid on the track from Owen Smith, which caused spins from both Nick Sanchez and Justin Carroll in turn 1. Lap 133, Drew Dollar and Parker Retzlaff got together on the front stretch. Very blatant what this was. This was payback for Toledo last week when Drew Dollar felt like he was wronged by Parker Retzlaff. Drew Dollar giving it back to Parker Retzlaff. Right or wrong, that's pretty clearly what happened here. Lap 151, we had the second break of the night. Final caution came at lap 159 as Gus Dean spun in turn 4. Your lap leaders on the night, we had a lot of them. We ended up having 9 lead changes among 5 drivers in this race. A lot of different drivers spending time out front. Part of that coming from Sam Mayer and Ty Gibbs. When they got to beating and banging on each other, it cut the left rear tire on Ty Gibbs. So under one of those cautions, Gibbs comes down pit road to change that tire. Well, for some reason, Sam Mayer followed him down pit road, even though he didn't really have an issue. So they went ahead and did a track bar adjustment while he was on pit road and sent him back out. So both of those two got sent to the back of the pack from that and had to fight their way back up. In the meantime, we had some different faces out front. But even at that, those two swapped the lead a lot, and really they did have a little bit of competition at certain points in this race. So it wasn't just Sam Mayer and Ty Gibbs running away with this race, although for a lot of the time it was. Sam Mayer, as you can see, led the most laps in this race, 116 laps led. Not surprising in the slightest. Sam Mayer already had 2 wins at this track in K&N competition, as well as winning the truck race earlier in the night in his first career Truck Series victory. Congratulations to Sam on that. So not surprising that he was this fast at Bristol. Ty Gibbs, though, did spend a good amount of time out front, though, at 53 laps. Max McLaughlin spent 19 laps out front. Max McLaughlin was fast last night. 9 laps spent out front for Michael Self, as well as 3 laps led by Brett Holmes. Out of those 5 drivers that spent time out front, who would be the winner from Bristol? We talked about how it was a lot of Sam Mayer and Ty Gibbs out front, and they led a combined 169 of the 200 laps in this race. So very clearly the top 2 cars in this race. Would it be one of them coming out on top in this race? Would Max McLaughlin steal the upset? The East driver steal the upset in this race? Would Michael Self claim the victory for his 3rd win of the year and regain the points lead? Or would those 3 laps that Brett Holmes led be the final 3 laps? Would he pick up his 2nd win of the season and continue to extend the points lead that he gained for the first time last week at Toledo? The answer, Sam Mayer picks up his 5th win of the season. Sam Mayer is on such a tear right now. Swept the night, winning the truck race and the ARCA race. I don't think there's any stopping Sam Mayer right now. He's so fast, it is ridiculous. Ty Gibbs gave him quite the run last night. Even said after the race that he thought he was faster than Mayer, just couldn't find a way to get around him, couldn't find a lane to make that move. But in the end, it was Sam Mayer who led the most laps and came home with the victory, came home with the sweep of the night after winning the truck race. So fast all night. Sam Mayer has got Bristol figured out. I don't know what he's figured out, but I'd like to know it because he really knows how to get around Bristol at this point. He knows what he's doing, and I think when we go to Bristol at this point, if Sam Mayer's in the race, we got to figure he's going to be in contention for the win, no matter what series it is at this point. Ty Gibbs did come home in the 2nd position, though, even though he had some issues late in the race. That car was stupid loose late in this race. I'm not really sure why. A few times it looked like he might have a flat tire, but it wasn't. So I'm not really sure what the issue there was, if they just had the car trimmed out so much that he was just that loose. Was able to get it driving well enough to finish in the 2nd position by the end of the race. Max McLaughlin, Mason Diaz. Want to give a shout out to these 2. East drivers playing spoiler in this race, outrunning most of the regular ARCA Menards Series drivers in this race. Yes, they have experience at Bristol from previous East races, but still, great runs for them all night. Max McLaughlin even leading laps at one point. Mason Diaz, the highest finishing Venturini car in the race. Very, very impressive runs out of both of those 2. I think those 2 opened a lot of eyes last night, and hopefully we see some more out of them going forward. Michael Self was able to rebound from many, many, many issues that he had on the night. Slapped the wall at one point after getting loose off turn 4. Had all kinds of issues from that. Dropped to the back of the pack after fixing the damage. Rebounded, though, for a top 5 finish in the 5th position. Came into the race minus 2 points in the championship battle. And as you can see here, Brett Holmes down in the 8th position. That is going to swing the championship points just a bit. We'll see in a moment how much that swings them. Rest of your top 10, Haley Deegan 6th, Taylor Gray 7th, Brett Holmes 8th, Derek Griffith in 9th, and Justin Carroll with a top 10 finish. Kudos to Justin Carroll, bringing home the top 10 there in the 91 car. Next page, 11th through 20th, Nick Sanchez landed in 11th after all of his issues on the night. 2 laps down. 5 laps down in 12th was Gus Dean. Max Gutierrez, after his issues on lap 4, was able to rebound for a 14th place finish. Chris Wright this week in a fast track car for Andy Hillenberg came home with a respectable 15th place finish. Drew Dollar, after his incident with Parker Retzlaff, landed in the 18th position. Retzlaff there in 19th. And then your final page, 21st through 26th. Chase Cabry, after having his issue early in the race, came home in 21st. Chandler Smith, with his sway bar issue, came home in 23rd. third position. So that is your results from the Bush's Beans 200. Working on that Sam Mayer interview. Should see that sometime this weekend, so definitely make sure your notifications are turned on so you know exactly when we chat with him this weekend. We'll talk about both this race and the truck race that he won last night as well, so you want to keep an eye out for that interview coming up sometime this weekend. So let's take a look at your point standings following the Bush's Beans 200, and like I said, we've had yet another change in the point standings. Michael Self is back on top of the points now by a single marker. It has been so close for the past 2 or 3 weeks. Came into Toledo with a 1-point lead last week, left Toledo trailing Brett Holmes by 2. Now he's back +1 over Brett Holmes, leaving Bristol with 4 races remaining in the ARCA Menards Series season. Yes, we have 4 races remaining. All we have left is Winchester, Memphis, Springfield, and Kansas. That is it. And we have 1 point separating our top 2 as we go down this home stretch of the season. This championship battle, I keep preaching on it, this is a good championship battle. And as we've seen, it's going to go right down to the wire at Kansas. Just like last year between Michael Self and Christian Eckes, this one I think is going to go right down to the wire as well. It's going to be exciting in Kansas. Remember, Brett Holmes got his one and only win of the season thus far at Kansas. So if Michael Self comes in with the points lead at Kansas, you cannot rule out Brett Holmes at that point. It's going to be exciting all the way down to the end. I'm loving watching this. Haley Deegan's still in third. That's your battle for Rookie of the Year at this point. The Bounty Rookie Challenge between Deegan and Dollar. Deegan now 49 points off the lead. Dollar -74. So 25 points separating those two right now in that Bounty Rookie Challenge. So that is something to keep an eye on right now as well. A few changes down near the bottom of the top 10 as well, with Thad Moffitt missing the last few races. He's now dropped below Ty Gibbs, Sam Mayer, and Brad Smith as well. But that is your point standings following the Bush's Beans 200, and I believe that'll do it for us on this ARCA Rewind show. We got another ARCA race coming up tomorrow for you. Winchester, the fastest half mile. That's going to be an exciting one. Just added to the schedule a few weeks ago. ARCA's return to Winchester. Of course, we'll have a watch party for you, 3 p.m. Eastern. The race will be live on MAV TV and Track Pass, so definitely, especially if you don't have those, you'll definitely want to hang out with us in the watch party so we can keep you updated on what is happening in that race. And if you do have it, just come out and watch it with us. It's fun hanging out there. We have a lot of fun just chatting it up with each other and hanging out there while the race is going on. And of course, we'll have a rewind show for that as well coming up tomorrow evening after the race. So if you're not subscribed already, you need to be. Go down below, hit that subscribe button for me, ring the bell for notifications so you don't miss a thing going forward from RNN. While you're down there, hit that big thumbs up button for me if you like the video. It is much appreciated when you do. Thank you, as always, to our Patreon supporter, Regional Manager William Holmes. Thank you for your support of RNN. It is greatly appreciated. And if you would like to be a patron as well, the link is down below in the description. Patreon.com/RacingNewsNow. Not required by any means, but it is very much appreciated if you want to support RNN in that way. But that's going to do it for this ARCA Rewind show. We'll see you again tomorrow for the watch party for Winchester and the Rewind show for that. As always, I'm Garth Allen for Racing News Now.